Imagine standing on the sidewalk, just looking at a vacant, like, slightly overgrown dirt lot.
Yeah, we've all walked past a dozen of those in our own neighborhoods.
Right. Now imagine pulling out your tablet and knowing with, I don't know, an 82% statistical certainty exactly how much a boutique coffee shop built on that specific lot will yield in revenue. And knowing that exactly 5 years from today,
It sounds like science fiction, honestly.
it really does, because you aren't just, guessing based on the neighborhood's current vibe. You know this because a system has already tracked the anonymized cellular data of every single person who has walked past that lot for the last decade.
hmm
It's factored in the municipal budget for street repairs and like analyzed the permit applications for every single building within a 3-mile radius.
It completely strips away the traditional guesswork of investing because, I mean, for generations, we've just accepted a certain level of ambiguity, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We put capital on the line simply because we didn't have the tools to process the sheer volume of variables that actually dictate market movements.
And that is exactly why we are thrilled you're joining us for this deep dive, because today we are looking at a stack of notes that fundamentally rewrites the playbook for real estate, investing, and just competitive strategy in general.
Yeah, it's a complete game changer.
We're pulling directly from a highly focused curriculum. It's titled AI for Strategic Market Research and Investment Analysis. And we're specifically zooming in on the module that covers AI for market research and insights. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Because if you look at the source notes, they are actually surprisingly brief. Like, it's mostly bullet points.
Right, but those bullet points outline a massive paradigm shift.
Exactly. We are moving away from the era of localized intuition, the whole gut feeling approach, and entering this world of hyper-calculated strategy.
The central theme throughout these materials is that knowledge only becomes an advantage when it is synthesized and applied. I mean, the question is no longer about how much data you can gather. The data is everywhere now.
We're swimming in it.
Exactly. The focus is entirely on how artificial intelligence allows us to process that data, to act with a level of precision that a human brain simply cannot achieve on its own.
So let's start right at the foundation. Because before anyone makes an investment, or even thinks about trying to outmaneuver a competitor, they have to understand the fundamental asset itself.
Ground zero of real estate.
Right. And our sources highlight 3 key pillars that AI tools analyze when evaluating a property. Those are price trends, ROI potential, and location growth.
Those 3 pillars basically dictate the viability of any physical asset. And historically, the industry relied heavily on comparable sales to figure those out.
Right. The comps. Looking at what, a similar building down the street sold for maybe 6 months ago.
Right.
But relying on historical sales data is essentially driving your car down the highway while staring fixedly into the rearview mirror.
That's a great way to put it.
You're making decisions about tomorrow based entirely on what someone else paid yesterday. Whereas AI operates more like a predictive radar system scanning miles down the road.
Yeah, it shifts the entire analytical framework from retrospective to predictive.
Mm-hmm.
The AI isn't just looking at the final sale price of a building, it's evaluating the thousands of microtransactions and behavioral shifts that actually lead up to that price.
Okay, but I want to push back on one of those pillars really quickly, specifically the location growth part.
Okay, sure.
Because it's incredibly easy for me to see how computer tracks price trends. That is just math, right? You're plotting numbers on a graph.
Right.
But how does an algorithm analyze something as organic and frankly as human as a neighborhood's growth trajectory better than a local resident?
That's a very fair question.
Because if I walk the streets of my own city, I can physically see a neighborhood changing. I see the foot traffic. I see the new storefronts opening up. I can literally feel the energy shifting.
What's fascinating here is how AI redefines the whole concept of observation.
How so?
Well, a local resident notices a new storefront when the awning goes up. They notice the foot traffic when the line for coffee spills out the door.
Right, it's visible.
Exactly. And that human observation is entirely valid. But in the context of investment, it is disastrously late.
Oh.
By the time you can physically see the neighborhood changing with your own eyes, that growth has already been priced into the real estate market. The premium is completely baked in.
So the human is seeing the result of the growth, not the actual catalyst for it.
Precisely. AI connects the dots between isolated, seemingly unrelated data points long before that coffee shop awning ever goes up.
Like what kind of data?
For instance, the system analyzes shifts in cellular mobility data. It's tracking the anonymized volume of cell phones moving through a specific zip code at, say, 2 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Okay.
And then it compares that to the volume at that exact same intersection 3 years ago. It's scraping municipal databases to measure the velocity of permit applications for interior renovations. It's even parsing the text of local zoning board meeting minutes using natural language processing to detect, like, early shifts toward commercial rezoning.
So it's picking up on all the invisible signals.
Exactly.
Like if the cellular data shows a 15% increase in pedestrian lingering time on a specific block over, I don't know, an 18-month period, the AI flags that as a leading indicator of commercial viability before a single new business even signs a lease.
Yes. And it does all of this while completely removing human cognitive bias from the evaluation.
Which is huge.
Because humans have a terrible habit of falling in love with a property's architecture.
Oh, yeah. Such good bones.
Exactly. Or they overestimate a neighborhood's potential just because it reminds them of a place they used to live.
It's true.
The algorithm evaluates the statistical probability of capital appreciation based on a synthesis of variables no single human could ever process simultaneously. It just outputs a clean, probability-weighted ROI potential.
Which completely changes the game at the ground level. But, even with a perfectly calculated ROI, the AI isn't the one signing the mortgage.
No, it's not.
The AI isn't putting its life savings or its corporate backing on the line. Once the property is mathematically analyzed, we have to look at how the human professional, the agent or the consultant, actually utilizes this data to guide the investor.
Because the data has to jump off the spreadsheet and become an actual strategy.
Right. And our notes indicate that professionals armed with these tools are now providing data-backed advice, market forecasts, and risk analysis. So what does this all mean?
It's a huge shift in the job description.
To me, this evolves the role of the modern real estate agent into something resembling like a highly specialized meteorologist.
Oh, I like that comparison.
Right. The AI is the atmospheric supercomputer running the complex pressure models and the radar loops, spotting the invisible storm fronts forming hundreds of miles away.
Yes.
But you still need the human meteorologist to look at those models, synthesize the data, and actually tell you whether you need to evacuate your house.
The interpretation is the actual service being provided now.
Right.
The raw data is completely useless to a panicked investor who doesn't know how to weigh a sudden shift in local employment data against, say, a projected drop in interest rates.
But here is my concern with putting so much faith in an AI's market forecasts and risk analysis.
Okay, let's hear it.
Markets are notoriously irrational. They are driven by human emotions, panic, greed, and completely unforeseen global events. We've seen markets crash literally overnight due to geopolitical conflicts or sudden supply chain failures.
We have.
Does handing an investor an AI-generated risk report just give them a false sense of security in what is inherently an unpredictable world?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to be very precise about what AI is actually doing when it analyzes risk.
Okay.
It is not eliminating risk. Black swan events will always happen. AI is quantifying risk through processes like Monte Carlo simulations.
Wait, so when you say Monte Carlo simulations, are we talking about the AI essentially playing out thousands of what-if scenarios to see how the investment breaks under pressure?
That is the exact mechanism.
Oh.
The AI runs tens of thousands of simulated futures. It models a scenario where interest rates spike by 2%, while local property taxes increase, and a major regional employer downsizes all at the same time.
Just piling on the worst-case variables.
Right. And then it runs another scenario, factoring in hyper-local climate models, like how rising sea levels might subtly shift neighborhood floodplains over a 10-year period, triggering massive spikes in long-term insurance premiums.
So it's mapping the breaking points of the asset across every conceivable future.
Exactly. By running these thousands of simulations, the AI maps the probability space.
Okay, I see.
So instead of a human agent looking at a property and saying, I have a good feeling about this, the agent can sit down with the investor and say, based on 10,000 simulations of regional, economic, and environmental variables over the next decade, there is an 82% probability this asset yields a 7% return and an 18% probability it yields negative returns.
It's replacing a gut feeling with a quantifiable matrix.
Precisely.
And this ties perfectly back into that meteorologist analogy. The human agent's value is no longer in just holding the keys and knowing what properties are for sale.
No, because information is completely democratized now. Anyone can see the listings.
Right. The true value is looking an emotional, highly stressed investor in the eye and translating those 10,000 complex simulations into a calm, actionable strategy.
They manage the human element of the transaction, guided by the machine's foresight.
That's powerful. But, even if you have a great agent and you know your property inside and out, you don't exist in a vacuum.
Not at all.
What happens when 5 other investors who also have access to these incredibly powerful AI models are looking at that exact same neighborhood?
Hmm.
You have to know how to outmaneuver the other players on the board.
Because investment strategy is inherently adversarial. You
Yeah.
absolutely have to understand the external battlefield.
Which brings us to the final section of our source material, competitor analysis.
Yes.
The notes detail how AI tracks the opposition by analyzing their competitor content, their ad strategies, and their overall market positioning. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, I agree.
This isn't just looking at a competitor's website. I picture this like having a digital echolocation system.
Echolocation, yeah.
You are constantly bouncing algorithmic signals off the entire market, and the AI maps the returning echoes to show you exactly where the solid objects like your competitors are standing.
The scale of that echolocation is the true breakthrough here.
Yeah.
The systems deploy natural language processing and computer vision algorithms to ingest a competitor's entire digital footprint continuously.
Break those mechanisms down for me. So the natural language processing is actually reading the text of every competitor's blog post and social media update.
Yeah.
And the computer vision is, analyzing the actual images in their digital ads.
Both of those things, simultaneously and at scale.
That is wild.
The natural language processing parses the text of every ad your competitor runs, tagging specific keywords and measuring the sentiment.
Okay.
Like, are they leaning heavily into words like sustainable and urban? Or are they using terms like luxury and exclusive?
Right, trying to find their angle.
Meanwhile, the computer vision algorithm analyzes the visual assets of those same ads. It looks at the demographic makeup of the models used in the photos, the architectural styles highlighted in the videos, and even the emotional tone of the lighting.
It's literally deconstructing their creative assets to figure out exactly who they are trying to talk to.
And it goes deeper than that.
Wait, really?
Yeah, the AI cross-references those creative assets with data on where those ads are being served, geographically and demographically.
Mm-hmm.
It essentially reverse engineers the competitor's marketing budget, dollar by dollar.
Oh, wow.
It tells you exactly who they are targeting, what messaging they are using, and how much capital they are deploying to capture that specific audience.
Okay, but doesn't this create a massive, highly optimized echo chamber?
What do you mean?
Well, if my AI echolocation system tells me that my biggest competitor is spending $50,000 a month on social media ads targeting millennials with language about eco-friendly smart homes, and they are seeing a really high conversion rate, the logical assumption is that I should also start targeting millennials with eco-friendly smart homes. Won't we just see everyone relentlessly copying each other until the market is completely saturated?
See, imitation is the trap that amateur strategists fall into when they get their hands on this level of data.
Oh, interesting.
But advanced AI market positioning is designed to do the exact opposite. Tracking competitor ad strategies isn't about finding out what is working so you can copy it. It is entirely about finding the gaps.
Wait, so instead of showing you the audiences that are highly contested, the AI is mapping the competitors to show you the audiences they're completely ignoring.
Yes.
It's looking for the digital blind spots.
That is the core of algorithmic market positioning. If your AI analyzes the entire competitive landscape of a specific city and tells you that 85% of competing investors and real estate firms are heavily allocating their ad spend toward millennials looking for smart homes,
Right.
it is showing you a saturated battlefield. It is showing you a heavily fortified hill that you should not bother attacking.
Because the cost of acquiring a client in that demographic is going to be astronomically high due to all the competition.
Exactly. But by mapping out exactly what the competition is deploying, the AI illuminates the negative space. It highlights the silence.
Wow.
It might reveal that literally 0 competitors in that zip code are running targeted content toward empty nesters, looking to downsize into high-end, low-maintenance condos.
Oh, wow. You bounce the signals off the market, and the AI finds the massive empty room where no one else is standing.
And then you deploy your capital and your marketing efforts exactly where the competition isn't looking.
That's brilliant.
And this is a dynamic, ongoing process. The AI monitors the competitors' A/B testing in real time. If they eventually realize they are missing out on the empty nester demographic and start shifting their ad spend towards your territory, your AI alerts you immediately.
So you can pivot your strategy.
Right, you adjust your keyword bidding or launch a counter campaign before their ads even gain traction.
You are always one step ahead because you can see their moves before they even finish making them. I mean, we have gone from essentially putting a billboard on a highway and hoping the right person drives by to knowing the exact algorithmic posture of every single player in the market.
It strips away the guesswork at every stage of the life cycle, from evaluating the raw dirt to outmaneuvering the firm across the street.
Which perfectly wraps up our journey through this snack of notes today. And I really want to connect this directly back to you listening right now.
Yeah, how this applies to everyone.
Whether you are an aspiring investor trying to evaluate your first commercial property, a professional agent looking to level up the strategic advice you offer your clients, or honestly just a curious learner trying to navigate a world that is increasingly driven by massive data sets. The takeaway here is unavoidable. The landscape of market research has permanently shifted.
We will never go back to relying solely on intuition.
Never. AI has taken market analysis from a tedious, retrospective chore of pulling old sales comps and turned it into this hyper-predictive engine. It analyzes the raw potential of a location using data streams invisible to the naked eye. It arms human professionals with the ability to quantify risk through thousands of simulated futures. And it maps the entire competitor battlefield so you can strike precisely where your opponents are blind.
This raises an important question, though, and it is a final thought I really want to leave you with today to mull over.
Let's hear it.
We have spent this entire deep dive unpacking the massive, almost unfair competitive advantage that these AI tools provide. But think about the inevitable trajectory of any technological breakthrough.
Okay.
What happens in 5 or maybe 10 years when this technology is completely ubiquitous?
When every single player on the board has the exact same predictive radar system.
Right. If AI becomes universally available, allowing every agent, every investor, and every competing firm to perfectly analyze price trends, run identical Monte Carlo risk simulations, and reverse engineer each other's ad strategies in real time, then having the best data is no longer a competitive advantage. It just becomes the baseline requirement to even play the game. The math on all sides perfectly balances out.
That is a wild thought. If the machines cancel each other out, we are right back where we started.
And in that future, the ultimate premium in the market won't be data processing. It will be the very things the algorithm cannot calculate.
The human elements.
Exactly. Profound emotional intelligence, the ability to build genuine, unbreakable trust with a client, creative problem solving, and the sheer human courage to take a calculated leap of faith when the spreadsheet tells you to play it safe.
Wow.
The great irony of achieving perfect artificial intelligence is that it might ultimately make our humanity our most valuable strategic asset.
That is a phenomenal place to leave it. We have the tools to see everything on the horizon, but you still need the human element to decide why the journey matters in the first place. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.